The time is now 6:03. The Board of Education will now reconvene in open session. Roll call.
Mr. Hollinshead.
Present.
Mr. Lar.
The time is now 6:03. The Board of Education will now reconvene in open session. We got some technical difficulties.
Mr. Hollinshead.
Report from closed session.
Yes, we do. Thank you, President Valencia. The Board of Education accepted the administrative appointment of Sandra Frejo, Junior High Assistant Principal, Fessler Junior High School. The roll call vote was unanimous. The Board of Education accepted the administrative appointment of Lori Matahano, Junior High Assistant Principal for Tommy Kuntz Junior High School. The roll call vote was unanimous. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. For items B and C, information was shared. Item B, introduction of interpreters. Tonight's interpreters are Benito Flores and Manuel Rios. Greeting and support this evening is provided by Benji Alfaro and Nashley Santiago. Did I say that correctly? Is it Nashley? Thank you. Item C, Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's pledge will be led by, is it Dion Gonzalez, or did I say that correctly? Dion Gonzalez. Thank you very much.
May everybody please stand. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice job.
And you're just going to stand in line.
We are now at item D, correct? The inspiration.
Yes.
So tonight's inspiration will be provided by Taylor School.
All right. Well, good evening, Superintendent McDuffie and members of the board and our amazing Santa Maria community. I'm Stephanie Hargrave, and I am the proud principal of Taylor Elementary School. Tonight, we have some of our terrific Timberwolves here to share their personal experience with after-school clubs and sports. The reason I chose to highlight our clubs and sports is because I'm consistently in awe of the dedication of our teachers and staff. Not only do they work hard all day to facilitate the very best educational experiences for our students, but many choose to share their passions with our students after school as well. We have a ton of fun clubs happening on campus, and tonight we get to share just a portion of those. So you'll hear from students who've been in musical theater, garden, chess, and robotics club, as well as football and cheer. In the past 2 years, the Taylor team has worked really hard to create a culture of belonging for everyone on our campus. And I think that sense of belonging happens not only when students feel connected in class and throughout campus, but also in our after-school programs. They're very important to students finding their niche. I think it's really important for us to highlight all of the things that students have learned in those times. And I really thank you for inviting us here to speak and for all of the hard work that you do to support us. Before I turn it over to my students, I just want to give a shout out to Jessica Garcia. She's one of our community liaisons. She made this beautiful presentation and our big poster. And Nicole Paz, she's our school counselor. She helped all of these kids write their scripts and also to practice. And I want to dedicate our presentation this night to Taylor teachers and staff, whom we have the pleasure to serve daily as an administrative team and whom I have the utmost and deepest respect for. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Taylor leaders. Nice.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Suhe. I have been in chess club for 3 years. My favorite thing about this club is learning more ways to checkmate people. Some of the great things we have gotten to do are go to tournaments. It is fun because you get to meet people from other schools. Being in chess club makes me feel happy because you get to help people that just started. Hello, everybody. My name is Mateo Cruz, and I've been on the flag football team for over 2 years already. My favorite thing about this team is teamwork, competing against different schools, and most importantly, representing my school. Some of the great things we've gone to do is at the end of the school year, we have a big party and eat food. Being in the flag football team makes me feel appreciated and a part of a team because I can help new people who are in the team. Hi, my name is Mason Fuente. I've been in musical theater club for 1.5 years. My favorite thing about this club is that I can sing and act in a beautiful character. Some of the great things that we have gotten to do are practicing and dressing up and doing makeup. Being in musical theater club makes me feel powerful because I can use my voice. Good afternoon. My name is Luciana Orozco, and it's a pleasure to be here. I have been on the cheer team for 2 years. My favorite thing about this club is being able to represent our school and to cheer for the sporting clubs. Some of the great things we've gotten to do is learn the Dallas Cowboys cheerleading dance and go to Santa Maria High School and cheer for the track team on the bleachers. Being on the cheer team makes me feel confident, included, and cheerful because I like to perform and I love to see my other cheermates learn new cheers.
Hi, my name is Nelson Gonzalez, and I've been in the garden club for 2 years now. Some of my favorite things we have gotten to do in this club is how we can learn about plants and grow our own. Some of the great things we have gotten to do is that we can make signs and we can start planting to make our school beautiful. Being in the garden club makes me feel relaxed and excited to help do things in the garden club because being happy and relaxed is good for you. And it's so cool to see your hard work plant grow big. Hi, my name is Leon Gonzalez. I'm in the robotics club. This is my first year. My favorite thing about this club is building parts of the robot and using teamwork. Some of the great things we've gone to do are build a robot for our challenge, and our robot can drive, and we're making it to be the best. Being in the robotics club makes me feel excited, focused, and challenged because I'm focused on the robot and trying to make it better and better. Here it's my robot, and me and my team have been working on it for the past weeks, and we're gonna make it much better, and we're adding more stuff to it.
Thank you again very much for having us this evening.
Before you all leave, I think some of us would like to share a couple words with you.
Awesome. Yeah, come over here so that you're going to share with us so we can be together. Here. Yep, just in line. Thank you. Yep, just right here. Okay, good.
I just want to take a moment to share the wonderful things that you all shared with us. I mean, I wish I had access to a chess club. I still don't know how to play chess, but maybe you all can show me because I really want to learn so I could grow my
Good.
grow my brain.
Yes.
Flag football, I love like that we have that healthy alternative because I know my students that play football at summer high school, high contact sport, lots of injuries sometimes. So I love that we have that healthy option for our young people. Musical theater, like what? Like that's amazing. So I'm just so happy to see that the arts are growing in our school. And I loved your confidence and how much fun you're having. I love how you said, I feel powerful and I get to use my voice. That's exactly what we're looking for to develop in all of our students. And seeing cheer, right? Learning cheers from like the Dallas is not necessarily my favorite football team, but I love the fact that you're learning those cheers, building that confidence, cheering on our teams. And the gardening club, I don't have a green thumb, but I need to develop that green thumb. So you all should be able to hopefully teach us how to be able to grow. And I love how it's outdoors and how healthy it is. And so we need that skill set. So I really appreciated hearing that. And then robotics, oh my goodness, again, like I wish I had that in school. This is what our industries are looking for: creativity, innovation. You said you get excited, then you get focused, and then you get challenged. And that to me is like everything. So I'm just so blown away with how wonderful, how smart you all are. And thank you for representing our district so proudly. Ms. Cordero.
I too was very impressed with all of the things that are happening at Taylor. And I know for a fact that this is not the first year, or even, I guess it is the second year for flag football. I've quite a bit in the past have reaped some of the benefits from the garden club. At one time, they invited school board members to come one evening and shared some of what they had grown. This year, I have seen the flag football team in action and the cheerleaders, and it was very apparent that everyone was really having a lot of fun. The musical program, I know Mrs. Asensio has been doing that for quite a number of years, and many, many students have benefited from her passion. The robotics, I also haven't seen anything this year, but I have attended for the past couple of years some of the competitions. So I have seen firsthand what the outcome is for much of what you are participating in. And I know that you will benefit from all of those things as you become adults. So keep going. Thank you.
Any other yeah, Mr. Holland said.
Told you guys would kill it.
He said,
That's what I'm talking about. Really great. You're just starting now, right? And getting involved in these clubs. Keep trying other things. Look how well this has worked out for you, right? So Nassar, you get Dion, go out for the garden club, right? You guys switch things up a little bit, little dance theater, robotics. Pretty much you'll be out there doing the robot and the dance and stuff. You'll be all kinds of things. But I'm super, super happy you guys did so well and I knew you would. But thanks for coming and sharing your stories about what you're doing on campus. It's super cool. Have a great night. Get back to studying.
And, yeah, Mr. Lara.
No, I just,
Oh,
I just, I think you guys are all doing excellent. Everybody hit on the same pivotal points that I had written down about all of you. But like Mr. Hollings had said, keep going, go into your future and go what's passionate for you. And don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't do what you want to do. And if you love what you do, go forward and you will succeed. Thank you.
And we would like to take a picture with you before you all leave. So let's do it. Let's Ms. Cabral do anything for you? Okay, all right.
thank you. Okay, picture. Okay, you want to put your robot in there? So that way, or do you want to put it in the picture? You can hold it in the picture. Yeah.
Mr. Valencia, I I didn't want to keep them any longer, but because they got things to do, but I really am impressed not only by our kids, but what the teachers are doing on our campus with the kids. I mean, all of those pictures and the representative things they're doing, and at a level that's not just like in passing. I mean, we've known that about Dina for years. Obviously, we've seen it, but just that comprehensive attention and love that they're getting is just, I commend our teachers for sure.
Major applause for our staff. Thank you so much. All right. We are now at item 8, public comment period, open session. The public comments are intended for members of the public to address the Board of Education on items involving the school district. Such testimony shall be limited to 3 minutes each, 450 words per person subject, and 15 minutes total for each topic. If an answer to a specific question is requested, the board president will, if appropriate, direct administration to respond in writing. This is just a reminder to all speakers and presenters to be mindful when speaking at the podium and not speak too quickly so that our interpreters can increase accuracy and keep pace with our Spanish and Mixtec speaking audience. Do we have any non-public comments this evening, Dr. McDuffie?
Yes, we do. We have Francisco Lozano. Do we have someone to help? Okay. Oh.
Buenas noches, miembro de la mesa de directivas y pues a los presentes, no hay muchos, pero está bien, porque yo estoy acostumbrado a hablar donde hay mucha gente, pero no hay mucha gente ahora. Bueno, es un placer estar esta noche. Mi nombre es Francisco Lozano, un miembro activo de nuestra comunidad y también como fundador del Comité Asesor Mixteco. ¿Van a interpretar o lo están escribiendo? Ok. Bueno, esta noche vine a proponer algo. Ya no pertenezco a nuestro distrito, pero como miembro de la comunidad, todavía sigo siendo, porque la comunidad mixteca, pues, somos una comunidad muy grande y tenemos familia, siempre, pues, me buscan ayuda, ¿verdad? Entonces, lo que quiero proponer ahora es, ya viene el tiempo de las conferencias, y una de las escuelas donde estaban niñas, todavía el año pasado, a veces pone el horario muy temprano y muy poco tiempo, y yo quisiera que si pudieras, los maestros pudieran hacernos favor, o ustedes, extender el tiempo para los padres que trabajan en el campo, porque sabemos que todos los padres son trabajadores agrícolas, y pues que haya un poquito más de tiempo para que ellos se puedan involucrar con sus hijos, porque de verdad a veces lo hacen cargado todos, y yo mismo pues no me alcanzó a hacerlo el año pasado con mi hija, casi me tocó ir con los maestros donde estaba un poquito más baja de calificación, pero siempre a mí me gusta pasar con todos los maestros, saludarles, los maestros también, y yo creo que esa parte, pues si pudiéramos mejorarlo dentro del distrito, no solo a unas escuelas, todas las escuelas donde pertenecen nuestros hijos, porque como padres, como trabajadores agrícolas, necesitamos un poquito de tiempo más tarde y extendido para que pudieran atender las conferencias. Es todo mis palabras. Muchísimas gracias.
Good evening, members and everybody that's present. I know there's not many here. My name is Francisco Lozano, active member. I come here to propose something. I'm no longer a parent within the district, but my community here is big, the Mixteco community. If you can do a favor and extend the time for parent conferences, we know that our parents are field workers. For example, I couldn't make it last year to my conference, and I wanted to meet all of the teachers, my students' teachers, but there was no time. because we work late. All of our people, the Mixteco community, they work in the fields and they work late. So this is what I'm asking, if you can extend the time for parent conferences so there would be more time for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's all we have?
Do we have any public comments for agendized items this evening, Dr. McDuffie?
No, we do not.
Okay. Item 9, approval of agenda as presented. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So be.
It is moved by Mr. Lara and seconded by Ms. Cordero to accept the agenda as presented. Roll call.
Mr. Hollingshead,
Aye.
Mr. Lara,
Aye.
Ms. Cabral, Mrs. Cordero,
Aye.
Mr. Valencia.
Aye, motion passes. Item 10, consent items. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are consistent with adopted policies and approved practices of the district and are deemed routine in nature. They will be acted upon by roll call vote in one motion without discussion unless a member of the board requests an item be pulled from the consent agenda for further discussion. Items pulled from the consent agenda will be voted on separately. May I have a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
I'll second.
It is moved by Mr. Hollingshead and seconded by Ms. Cordero to approve the consent items as presented. Roll call.
Mr. Hollingshead,
Aye.
Mr. Lara,
Aye.
Ms. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Cordero,
Aye.
Mr. Valencia.
Aye, motion passes. Item 11, action items. Item A, collective bargaining agreement with SMIA. Dr. Bland.
Don't need it that high. I'm not that tall. All right. Well, good evening. I am pleased to present to you tonight the revised articles of 2, 5, 6, and the 23-26 agreement between the Santa Maria Bonita School District and the Santa Maria Elementary Education Association for adoption by the Board of Education. Also included in the with the revised articles tentatively agreed upon are Appendix A through I, which includes the tentative agreement regarding the financial settlement for adoption by the Board of Education. Administration also presents the public disclosure for proposed collective bargaining agreement in accordance with AB 1200, Chapter 1213, Statutes 1992, and AB 2756, Chapters 52, Statutes 2004, and GC 3547.5. In accordance with the requirements of the Government Code, Section 3547.5, the Superintendent and Chief Business Official of the Santa Maria Bonita School District hereby certify that the district can meet the costs incurred under this collective bargaining agreement with the Santa Maria Elementary Education Association during the term of the agreement from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026. And before I go before I end, I just want to say also is that I just want to thank our partners with SMIA and our partnership that we had and our collaboration and our collaborative negotiation sessions we had. I think we had a really good session of negotiations last year, and I'm really thankful for our partnership together.
Board colleagues, are there any questions, comments? Yeah, Mr. Hansen.
I just want to echo that and thank you, Dr. Bland and Mr. Beecher and Dr. McDuffie. So both sides, I know that there was trust and good accord developed last year in the outgoing negotiations last year, and I think that was brought right to the table this year. And so I appreciate everyone's leadership on this. I think it's a really it's a strong indication that there's good bonds and trust building there. So I really appreciate all of you, both sides.
Thank you, Mr. Hollingshead. Any other questions or comments from the board? I would just like to echo Mr. Hollingshead's sentiments. We definitely want to continue to build that trust with our staff and continue to set an example of what negotiations can look like. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. McDuffie, but this was pretty, I guess, in recent years historic that we haven't done so in 10 years where we kind of do not reach impasse. Does that sound accurate?
Sounds accurate, yes.
So that's a pretty big deal. And I think that's a good indicator of us moving in a good direction. And we want to continue to build that trust and transparency with our staff. And so I really want to thank our team from our district and our staff, our unions for the good work that everybody's doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Seeing no further questions or comments, may I have a motion?
I'll make the motion that the Board of Education adopt the 2023-2026 collective bargaining agreement with SMEA as presented.
And I'll second.
It is moved by Mr. Lara and seconded by Ms. Cordero that the Board of Education adopt the 2023-2026 collective bargaining agreement with SMEA as presented. Roll call.
Mr. Hollingshead,
Aye.
Mr. Lara,
Aye.
Ms. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Cordero,
Aye.
Mr. Valencia.
Aye. Motion passes. Item 12, discussion items. Item 8, dual language immersion expansion update. Ms. Lochungbu.
Dr. Tammy Castillo Schiffer will be providing this update this evening.
Sorry about that. Good evening, board members. President Valencia, board members, Dr. McDuffie, and cabinet. I'm here tonight to present to you a brief update on our DLI expansion program, or the expansion of our DLI program. The school is currently located at Jimenez. Sorry, I was waiting for my slides to come up. So we were before you in March of this year to present to you the DLI task force recommendations. And those recommendations were to expand the current DLI program from a strand program to a whole school program. And the second recommendation was to offer language and culture opportunities across the district through after-school programs. The board approved our recommendations in March of '24. I know this is blurry and there's a lot on this slide, but I want to show you that we're right here. This is the spot. So we're at the beginning of the expansion. We do have a plan to add one grade level at the beginning of each year, and right now we are at the start of that plan of expanding. So here's the update. We have added 4 transitional kindergarten classes at Jimenez, and those are DLI classes. In addition to having those classes, we have to have the teachers. So we have 4 DLI transitional kindergarten teachers. We are currently establishing a protocol to ensure that our newcomers are successfully incorporated into a DLI program. We want to make sure that we are supporting them as they move through the DLI classroom and ensure that they have access to high quality instructions that center around their needs. We are doing interviews and diagnostics to help support those students in a very specific way in those classrooms, and to make sure that they do have the opportunity to be successful in that program. And last, we're collaborating with various departments to explore the expansion of additional language opportunities for our students. This includes collaboration with our world language teachers at the junior high and at the Santa Maria Joint Union High School District to offer our students a better pathway to the seal of biliteracy. And it's not just the world language teachers. We're also working with our expanded learning folks to ensure that our students have opportunities, even during the school day, to experience culturally relevant art and drama and all of the wonderful things that our VAPA program brings us. Remember that the idea here is to create a solid program that we can replicate. So we want to have a robust, well-supported, and well-planned out program. But at the same time, we want to simultaneously explore the expanding opportunities for our students. And I'll take any questions you might have.
Board colleagues, Mr. Hollingshead.
Thank you, Dr. Schiffer. That was really great. As far as adding TK, is that affecting that campus similarly with kinder to our other classroom campuses? In other words, we have full day TK on some campuses, yet only half day, are only able to accommodate half day kinder on those same campuses because of crowding. So how is this affecting that?
So Jimenez, as you know, is one of the schools with the largest populations. And so we have 94 spaces for our transitional kindergarten classes. Next year, those students will go into kindergarten, and that will be a full day program.
Full day kinder. Okay, perfect. And then, so when you're talking about newcomers coming into the program, or they may enter at different grade levels. So because we're working on biliteracy or dual immersion, is there a way then of testing them in their heritage language for literacy, or where they're at literacy, so they can be appropriately not placed, but given supports and whatnot?
Yes, so we're determining where students are with their home language, their native language, in order to determine what type, like you said, what types of supports they're going to need, because the goal is really to make sure that they are successful in this program. So if you think about it, if our newcomers are in a regular, in a non-DLI program, everything is in English all day long. And sometimes that can be difficult for our newcomers, because not only are they trying to learn the language, they're trying to learn content. So DLI offers a unique opportunity that our students will be experiencing some of the content in their native language, and then also learning English at the same time. So we want to make sure that our students are ready for that, and that we have those right pieces in place, and then that we're talking to the teachers and making sure that they have the resources that they need to help those students be successful, because it can really be a game changer for them. And so they would enter at whichever grade level they came in. I think that was your original question. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Ms. Cordero?
I have several questions regarding, I didn't realize that we would only be speaking about Jimenez this evening. From the mid-September enrollment, I see that at Jimenez, there are 92 students enrolled in those classrooms. So 92 divided by 20, which is what the maximum is supposed to be. How has that been addressed? And as in the past, when we initially established the DLI program, the model that we fashioned or went with our program was that 1/3 of the students would be non-English speaking, 1/3 would be basically bilingual, could speak some in both English and Spanish. At that time is all we were talking about, and 1/3 would be English speakers. Was it a lottery system to enroll the TK students at Jimenez?
So there's a couple of questions in your question, so I'll try to go through those. The students that we have enrolled, we have 3 sections of TK at 24, and then 1 at 20, which is our section of TK with the youngest learners. And those are all in accordance with what we are supposed, the enrollment that we're supposed to have, and the ratio of student to teacher. When it comes to ensuring that students are in a specific language category, we do screeners to determine if the student is English only, bilingual, or native Spanish speaker, to try to balance out those classes. The model that we have can still continue to work, because we have students who are English only in those classrooms. We have heritage speakers, and then we have bilingual students. So all of that will still, Jimenez is not a monolingual school where all the students are EL, so we wouldn't have to change our program as it has existed.
Okay.
So we'll still be able to maintain those ratios, are very close to them, was the answer.
Okay, and the 92 TK students, how are they? Are they just even, there are 20 plus students in each class?
So there are 24 students in 3 of the classes and 20 in our early TK as required, as it has been outlined
Okay.
in Ed Code. Yeah.
Is it, so then is that like a one, I think, are you asking, is that like is it a 1 to 12 ratio that's required by Ed Code?
We have
Adult to 12?
we have instructional aides
Yeah.
in those classrooms. So
Yeah,
yes, our
it's 1 to
students.
12 still. So hence 24.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. So when many families are constantly asking me about dual immersion, it seems to be it's a very continuously popular topic of conversation with families. And I think the main kind of point that I'm hearing from families is, well, like, what are we doing to expand beyond Jimenez? And I've heard that we want to, grow slowly, grow a successful program, which I think is really intentional and smart. And then at what point do we expand beyond that? And so what have been the conversations with your team around how do we make that a reality? Because I remember at a school board meeting not too long ago, a couple of months ago, a parent was like in tears because she felt lucky that her child was at, Jimenez, that she quote unquote kind of felt like she won the lottery. And then, she felt bad for those families that don't have that opportunity. So what have been the conversations around that with your team?
So we acknowledge that our families are asking for more dual language immersion, and you are absolutely right that we want to be intentional and well-planned. But expanding DLI at Jimenez is, and expanding it in other places, those aren't mutually exclusive. So we will continue to expand as we have planned at Jimenez, but we'll also be working with our task force and with Dr. Pagan at the Santa Barbara County Office of Education to look at what it is that we can do to expand those opportunities in other places. And in my conversations with folks in lots of different places, I know that California has placed a lot of emphasis on expanding our students' access to bilingual teachers. And so the state has allocated funding for that. For student or for teachers who want to earn their BCLAD, Cal Poly has received a big grant for their students. This past year, we had 3 of our own teachers go through the county program to earn their BCLAD. So the state of California put forth the Global 2030, and they wanted to, with the intention of helping our students to be leaders in the community and in the workplace, and ensuring that California maintains its position economically and culturally. And so the words in that plan has been backed up with funds. And so as we grow our own teachers here, and then help our teachers who are already in the classroom to take advantage of those programs that are available, we'll have more opportunities to expand that DLI program in lots of different places. And I agree with you. I feel the sense of urgency from our families in the community. So looking for ways to do multiple things at the same time. We're looking for those opportunities and trying to help our students preserve that home language and making sure that we are giving it the importance that it deserves. So all of those things, and yes.
I really appreciate it, because that was going to be one of my follow-up questions. What you're talking about is, what is the support for teachers? Because I know there's some staff that are monolingual, but they, with the right support and educational support, university education is really expensive these days.
Yes.
And so you mentioned the county BCLAD program. Does our district help with finding funding available, like sources, or are they paying out of pocket for that? Do you know?
I don't know exactly what the case is for all of those folks, but I do know that it isn't an inexpensive proposition. So sometimes it's somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000
Okay.
to get that B-clad.
Okay.
But I think that some of it is covered by grants from the different organizations, but I can get that information to you.
That'd be really helpful, because my understanding is that a lot of our staff would want to take advantage of that, right? The opportunity to become bilingual, not only to better serve our teachers, but they would be eligible to become teachers in our dual immersion program.
Yes.
And so that part's really exciting. I'm glad to see that the state is investing in that education.
And just to add, first of all, thank you, Dr. Castillo-Schiffer. I think as this continues, as you talk about grants being available and so forth, and it being a priority, that there'll be that additional intensity to do some things similar to our teacher pipeline program, where we are actively engaging our teachers in getting a B-clad, and not just in this region, but throughout the state of California. So it's good stuff.
And then as a follow-up, one of the things I really appreciated during your presentation with Ms. Lochumbu is when you all went to Oaxaca, in terms of the cultural preservation piece, the language preservation piece, specifically around indigenous languages. What have the conversations been lately around how do we add that component? Because when I speak to families and when they talk to me about the dual immersion program, they're also looking at, well, how can we look at how do we incorporate indigenous languages into that piece? What have the conversations been around that?
Conversations have been around looking at partnering with different organizations. So my team just attended a training on Mixteco culture and language, and some of the ways that we as an institution can continue to reach out. And so it was affirming in a lot of ways, but also highlighted for us the challenges that we face in terms of a written language, in terms of regional variations of the language. And we want to work with our Mixteco advisory group. They have been a really powerful force in helping to shape our policy when it comes toward our indigenous language speaking families, but really looking at the different options that might exist to make sure that we are acknowledging that portion of our community as well. When we have our meetings, our families have said, some families have said to us, we'll take care of Mixteco at home. But others have said that they do want to see it in the schools too. So listening to all of those voices and really problem solving, there are a lot of smart people in the room. And so it's not really an easy answer, but I think with the collective, we can come up with something that is meaningful and will be appropriate.
Thank you very much. I'll just follow up on this point and then go to you, John. That I really appreciate what we're doing around this, and then I also want to get us all to think about the what if. I hear that in other countries, like in Sweden, in other European countries, 5 languages is the norm. And so I just want us to think the what if, what if our young people were not just bilingual, but trilingual or speaking 4 or 5 languages. And so I want us to dream big, and because I think that we have what it takes with strategic planning, right, that we are continually doing to have our young people, be more than just bilingual or even trilingual. So that's a challenge that I pose to our governance team, our staff, is how do we do successfully what other countries have been doing successfully for a long time already.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Mr. Holland said.
Yeah, 2 things, or maybe more. One thing is point of order. What I was trying to do is get your attention so we could have a discussion rather than going through a whole line, because I had something to confer with you on. So it gets lost, and it doesn't sound the same if I say something way later. So, and I've already forgotten it. So there. So just as a point of order, that's why I was trying to get your attention. So again, thank you. A lot of that information was things I had concerns about. And one of the things is when we were at the forum on Monday night, there were also parents there who had more than one student at Jimenez. So we know that the lottery isn't for everybody. In other words, once you have one kid in, your other kid gets to go there. And so I think that's one of the other reasons that there's a pressing sense on our community's part to have more than the one school. Because if you feel like you're already in that lottery, and then added on top of that, there are other people whose children are automatically admitted because they have a sibling there, that makes it that much more precious to get that initial entry. So, you know, I think it's really important that we acknowledge some of those things to our community when we're listening to them. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and it's probably a little beyond the scope, but is as we investigate community schools, I feel like that this is something that can be a collaborative topic with the community schools as well, because I know that we're, you know, part of the nature of a community school is building a neighborhood school and a school that is a touch point for folks in an immediate area. So rather than the lottery and going across boundaries, perhaps thinking about things in a community school kind of setup or structure. So maybe meeting and having conversations with Mr. Segura and his team and seeing how that might look. I mean, I know I really loved the one slide that you had with the EL roadmap and those things, and I know that we're trying to do the best things we can on campuses. So I want to acknowledge that too, that we've got a lot of different pathways. So DLI is a wonderful thing and probably the best model. Ultimately, there's pros and cons. You know, there's always going to be a few things that aren't perfect. But I also want to acknowledge that you in your role and Ms. Lo Chavamvu are also doing things outside of DLI that are helping our kids get on a pathway to biliteracy, get their A through G requirements in Spanish and in the junior highs, so that while we want to get this program expanded, we're also doing things concurrently that are really, really good. And I appreciate that you guys are doing those things, and that those things aren't always the things that come to the forefront or that are as publicly noted, right? There may be a little bit more under the radar. So I just want to acknowledge that and tell you guys how much we appreciate as a board that all those other things that you're doing to support our families.
Thank you. The community schools model does offer a lot of opportunity to tap into those resources that are in the community. So a lot of our partner agencies, including those who are there to help educate us on language and culture. And under my umbrella, under the multilingual umbrella, community schools fits there. So we're always looking for those opportunities from multiple perspectives. So thank you for calling that out.
Any other questions or comments from the board? With no further questions, the Board of Education acknowledges receipt of the dual language immersion expansion update as presented. Thank you very much. Item 13, new business. Is there any new business before the board? Okay. One thing that I would request is that we would continue to receive these wonderful updates regarding our dual language immersion program. So I'll be in communication with you, Dr. McDuffie, about, you know, at least on a semi-annual basis. I would personally prefer quarterly, but, you know, whatever also the will of my colleagues is. So let's check in about that.
Absolutely.
Yes, Ms. Gordon.
Yes, I'd like some data. I'm trying to kind of sort it into categories, but we now refer to students that arrive at our schools that do not speak English as newcomers. I would like clarification on what a newcomer actually is. Is it simply based on language, or is it based on the fact that they have newly arrived in our community? And how many we actually have by grade level. Going back to the transitional kinder at Jimenez, I would also like the language breakdown of the students in those classrooms.
As far as being newcomer or
No,
Or-
actually just it
English.
doesn't matter whether they're a newcomer there, they're all. So just the language breakdown. How many do speak English? How many speak both? How many are only Spanish speaking? And what happens if students enroll in those classes that speak Mixteco? How are we addressing that? And I've heard it mentioned that at a couple of our schools, they are piloting a newcomer program to help students who are arriving new to our country. I'd like more information about what that entails and how that is handled. And I know we receive this information pretty annually, but currently, what is our actual enrollment across all the grade levels of English learners? What percentage of our students are ELs?
Okay, thank you very much, and we'll get that information and
Okay.
get that to all the board members in a update.
Oh, one more thing. I know in times past, and I think probably it was probably close to 10 years ago, we were given information that the majority of our students that entered kindergarten and now would be, of course, entering TK were actually born here in Santa Maria. I'd like that information as well. If the majority of, and what the breakdown is, born in either in Santa Maria or in the US or coming from another
different-
country.
Now, are you talking about the entire enrollment? Or are you talking about Jimenez?
No, I'm talking about entire TK kinder enrollment.
Okay, just TK and kinder.
Yes. The newcomer category covers others.
Okay.
All right. Any other new business for the board members? Okay, excellent. Then let's continue to item number 14, board superintendent reports. Mr. Hollinshead, anything from you?
Yeah, just in brief, I think I told you guys all about my experience with Brian Lujan, who was one of the student leaders from Fessler last year, and meeting him today, just after the high school had their press conference for Measure J, and just how impressed my wife, who didn't know about our leadership program and didn't know young Brian beforehand, was with him. And so kudos to Ms. Stanley and Dr. McDuffie and the folks who've been doing that leadership work with our junior high and elementary school students. I think it's usually obvious to us, right, while they're here, but it goes on, right? We like to see the longitudinal study or the how things go for those students as they move on. And so that was a great positive experience for me and my wife today. Just wanted to briefly encourage everybody here, my colleagues and whomever else hasn't had a chance to do so. I just started the book that kind of describes how Orinda arrives at their philosophies on system change or system assessment. Dr. McDuffie has a copy. There's something in equity is in the title. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact title, but if you would, maybe Dr. McDuffie, you can put that information out there for us.
Yes,
as
I
part of that
I
episode.
don't know the exact title either, as we talked about it upstairs. But I do have the book upstairs, and I'll get that information
Yeah,
to all the
super.
board members.
I mean,
Yeah.
just having read the first chapter, I'm already, it's very, very succinct and makes a really, great presentation of the why. The other thing I wanted to encourage folks to watch is the YouTube video or recording of the county Office of Education's staff housing presentation that was done. We were invited to last week because I know nobody was at that. There was only one board member that was on the recording, as I think they noted. But it was really super well done, very informative by all interested parties on how things are being done and for what reasons, and the needs in Santa Barbara City and Santa Barbara Unified, but also in Lompoc. So going into it, I really wasn't. I had my biases thinking about who needed housing and where and what, and maybe biases isn't the preconceived ideas, but it was super informative. And that question came up in the forum the other night for the high school folks, the candidates, and it may start coming up to us in not in passing. And so I think it's a really good. It's about maybe an hour and a half video, but you can get through some of the stuff a little quicker than that. I found it really, really good. So I just want to encourage folks, if you get a chance, go back to that original email, or the second email actually, and there's a link to the video. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Lara, any report for you? Okay. Ms. Cordero?
Okay, just a few things during the past 2 to 3 weeks. I have been out at, as I mentioned, I've seen our flag football players and a couple of the different cheerleader groups that seem to be having a joyful time. I've been to a couple of the junior high volleyball games. The night after our last board meeting, I was a participant at the Boys and Girls Club here at the Railroad Club in their Back of Youth Night, which is a pretty popular event where adults from the community are partnered with students through the club, and it was like a rotation of different activities. It's changed a little bit since it initially started, but I was doing that regularly before COVID, and COVID kind of interrupted, and I was reminded that I needed to return to doing that. I also attended a celebration of life for a former employee and a colleague from Ontiveros Elementary, and it was very heartwarming to see many of my colleagues that I worked with them, and it was a very touching ceremony. There was a school board candidate forum on Monday evening. I don't know or how to connect with that, but I believe it is on Facebook. It would be worthwhile to take a look at that for both the high school and for our district. And tomorrow I will be the first one of us, I think, attending an ethics training. It will be done via Zoom. That's a new requirement that is coming in, and hey, I figured check that box. And I did attend the monthly Santa Barbara County School Board workshop, which most of the time is done via Zoom. And I wanted to share some information and some clarification regarding what that organization, what the purpose is, and what actually occurs. I have written up some of the information to share with everyone here on the board. It is a monthly meeting. A representative or two or three or anyone from any of the school boards from the 20 school districts that are in Santa Barbara County may attend. The districts do need to opt in with a fee based on enrollment to participate in it. There's the state organization for California school boards, and then I assume other counties also have a more localized school board association. It's not a decision-making group. Oftentimes information, or most of the time information, is shared from any of the school board representatives that are there for their district. And of course, it's an opportunity for Dr. Salcido to share information about what is going on in the county. Mr. Hollins had mentioned the workforce housing presentation that happened on September 23rd, and I sat in on that. And I have the web address listed on there. Monday evening, there was a workshop presented through the county for any candidates for people running for school boards. We were informed that it's now passed, but Dr. Salcido had mentioned it the month before that Sal Khan from Khan Academy was in Santa Barbara last weekend talking about artificial attendance. I'm sorry?
Intelligence. You said attendance.
What?
You said attendance, and it's artificial intelligence.
Oh, sorry. And that another renowned presenter will be coming in February, Jonathan Haidt, at UCSB, talking about, it's titled Arts and Anxious, and it's about cell phones and social media and all of that and the impact it has on education. CASP and LPAC data will be released to the public on October 15th. And on October 24th, the County Office of Education will be hosting a school safety symposium. And that can be viewed on the web at the web address. She indicated it would be basically by invitation for that, but the county has been quite proactive, working with the county sheriff, with someone from there to have districts more aligned in how the responses are made. So that has been interesting. So I started attending these meetings when I first came on the board because I was available. I'm not working. So I started going with Mr. Brunello and have continued pretty much consistently since then. So I just wanted to make a point of sharing that information. Oh, and on another note, since we often refer to what is occurring in our communities or nationally, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Tomorrow is World Mental Health Day. United Nations Day is October 24th. National Farmers Day, which I had not heard of, is October 12th. And so I'm assuming that's why we have within the county a couple of different occasions where farms are open for people to visit and ask questions. And it is also Filipino American History Month. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I had the privilege, before coming to the school board meeting, of being invited to speak in front of Santa Maria High School in support of Measure J, which is the bond measure in support of funding a new high school, renovating buildings. And it was a privilege because they asked me to speak on behalf of myself being a teacher at Santa Maria High School. And I shared the story about how during I love seeing my students on campus, just waving to them when they're not in my classroom. Maybe they're getting out of practice or getting their lunch. But admittedly, because the campus is so congested at over 3,000 students, I actually sometimes avoid the passing periods because of the anxiety that it creates when you have 3,000 bodies and staff all trying to get at one place at the same time. Masses of students, masses of people opening doors, closing doors. It's just we have a wonderful high school, but it's just we are bursting at the seams. And so I just wanted to take a moment to encourage all of our community to support Measure J so that we have the funding to create a new high school and help alleviate some of that congestion. And it was wonderful because at this event, we had, former board members from the high school district, such as Dr. Karamitsos. We had community leaders like Councilwoman Gloria Soto. We had some of our educational partners here for Santa Maria High, for the Bonita School District, as well as Santa Maria High. So it was a wonderful collection that we heard from students talking about how when they, because of the capacity issues, sometimes they can't take the courses that they need to meet their A through G requirements to be college and career ready. So there's some real challenges that are created in our community when we don't have the funding to support new facilities and to renovate our deteriorating facilities. So I really want to encourage our community to come out strong in support of Bond Measure J. And then lastly, part of being a board member is the ongoing training that we have the opportunity to participate in. Some of us have had the opportunity to engage in CSBA conferences, one which will be coming up in a couple of months. But the other is a training around Orinda, which we'll be participating in, a few of us, next week. So I'm looking forward to that training and bringing back some of the learning from that training. And then just in closing, I'm feeling a little tired these days. I'm not sure if it's the hot weather we've been having, the changing of the seasons. So I'm going to intentionally keep it brief so that we can all go home and get some rest and, be there for ourselves, for our families. Many of us professionally are dealing with some challenges, whether it's a sick family member or things like that. And so I just want to take a moment to please remind everyone to, again, take care of yourselves. Teachers, take care of yourselves. Administrators, board members, all of us, so that we could continue to show up for our students and for each other. Thank you very much. That concludes my comments.
Thank you, President Valencia and board members. I'll keep my comments brief as well. First of all, I want to just thank everyone. I had an unexpected period of time when I was out last week and beginning of this week, and appreciate the support from the board members, from my staff and cabinet. You guys are just awesome, and I didn't have to worry about a thing. So I want to thank you for all that you do and all that you continue to do for Santa Maria Bonita School District. Just a quick, I love the decorations here. They're great. Taylor leaders did a great job just giving us a taste of what happens at their site on a daily basis. And so quickly, celebration of culture and community will be happening Saturday, October 12th, noon to 3. SMBSD is partnering with the high school district to host this special event in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. So that'll be in your weekly. I think it's Saturday. So, again, we'll put it in the weekly update. Also, tomorrow I'll be visiting sites. Well, no, I'll be visiting one site. I'll be out at Bonita during their lunch period just to talk and thank our staff for the service to our students. And I've scheduled visits to all the schools this year just to do that, just to create unity and to have a connection outside of some meeting or some issue or some challenge, but just to build community. And so looking forward to that. And that is all that I have today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. McDuffie. Item 15, adjournment. The next regular board meeting of the Santa Maria Bonita School District will be held on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. There be no further business before the board. May I have a motion to adjourn? It is moved by Ms. Cabral, seconded by Mr. Lara to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? The time is now 7:14. And the meeting is adjourned.